Hello, everyone. Welcome to what I'm going to call a very special edition of the A Little Bit Unhinged podcast, the only podcast that will take place over 2 states while we record. I have Casey with me.
Hey, guys.
And I am here, and we are recording while moving, which you guys don't understand, which is a technological masterpiece that I am performing here.
It is quite impressive.
And hopefully this means that you guys are going to be listening to this and you're going to hear what kind of technological masterpiece this is. Because right now, I'm pretty just amazed that this is happening. So hey everybody, we're back. Episode 3. On this one, we're going to talk about movies. Because what's interesting about movies when it comes to you and I is that you watch way more movies than I do. In a general sense. So I like it because you're going to educate me on movies the more we talk about them, which makes me very excited.
No pressure or anything.
No, a lot of pressure. I want you to feel a full amount of pressure on the fact that you're going to give me a movie education as we talk about it. Though on this one,
while I'm driving.
while you're driving, which is, look, even better. This is really going to show your expertise as a person, that you're going to do this while driving. However, this version of the movies episode is a very low stakes one. We're just going to go over what we like, favorite movies, kind of things that we like, earliest movie memories, just stuff about movies to give everybody a baseline on our movie taste for when we go talk about very important films like Dune 3 or whatever we talk about in the future. But first, because we've had this conversation, us and amongst friends, I want to talk about 1998 in movies. And I'm also, when we do our music episode, I want to talk about 1998 in music, and also 1998 in games at some point too, because it's really a cool year as far as entertainment goes.
Yeah, it really is.
And I am at this point, I have just graduated high school. So it is a pretty formative time for me to remember some things here. You weren't born yet, but it's fine.
Oh, that's right. I'm 22.
That's right. That's right.
You're right. I have not been born yet.
I'm keeping to the lore of the show. You have not been born yet. But I want to start because I thought this was super interesting. I pulled from Box Office Mojo. I pulled the top 15 movies by box office in 1998. And I think this is a really interesting list. And one of the few top 15 movies that I can say I've watched most of them, if not all of them. Because it was back when I watched more movies. Because what else was I going to do? My parents only let me game for so long. Plus, I didn't work a job at that point and stuff. So, feel free to stop me, or I might stop so you can give me an impression on the movie if you are familiar with it. Obviously, you're familiar with the number 1 movie on this list, which is Titanic.
Yeah. Who isn't at this point?
Isn't? I think it actually even aged pretty well in general.
I think so. Yeah, there's not a lot of special effects, so it makes it easier for it to transition to modern day still.
And the subject matter is already dated, you know what I mean? It's a period piece already. So it kind of just gets to be a period piece, which is great. So yeah, it crushed everybody in the box office for that year, no surprise. Like $200 million, almost $300 million more than the next movie on the list.
Well, it was also number 1 period, like of all time for a number of years
for a long time.
Until I think Avatar and then Avengers.
Yep. Until Marvel started just doing that regularly, it was big time. Great movie. The number 2 movie in 1998, which you could have given me 500 guesses and I wouldn't have got this correct, was Armageddon.
I can see that.
It was star-studded. It was very well advertised.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but I don't remember. I think I remember more about the the director's cut where somebody was on the director's cut DVD, like Ben Affleck or somebody.
Oh, his interview?
Yeah.
Where he's talking about, doesn't it make more sense to train astronauts than it does to train miners?
Yep.
And Michael Bay's just like, fuck off.
Yeah, he's like, excuse me.
That was such a... I forgot about that interview. That's so good, though.
That's what I remember every time I think of it now, more than I remember the movie. And I remember all the music around the movie, because it also had a pretty strong soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, that Aerosmith song.
Yeah, Don't Want to Close My Eyes. Was Liv in it, too?
Yeah, Liv Tyler was
in it.
the love interest.
That's right.
Back before her Lord of the Rings time.
Yeah. On a side note, I saw that the re-release of Lord of the Rings is in theaters sometime. Remaster.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I could watch one of them at least in the theater again.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do all three in the theater again. That's a lot of energy. I would have to do that at home.
It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. I know somebody, because they just like 2 or 3 weeks ago, one of the local theaters had all of them showing in a row, and I know people that went to them, and it was like 15 hours or something. It was like the extended versions. And I know there was plenty of intermissions and stuff, but that's too much. You have to pay me to do something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that I could spend my entire day in one place like that.
No. But it speaks to how much people love those things.
Yeah, they are very good. Well done movies.
Well done. The number 3 movie on this list, which I would have probably guessed would have been the number 2 movie, is Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there's also a possibility that some of these movies were like late 97 movies. And so, in the 98 box office, they could be a little tricky. I didn't do that much research. Look it up yourselves. Movie number 4, which I was surprised to know that it grossed this much, but now I guess we're into the movies that gross this level. Number 4 is There's Something About Mary.
I guess I'm not surprised. That was a pretty big hit.
It was a pretty big hit. It was.
And a lot of comedies were doing a lot of stuff and being pretty successful around that time frame too, I feel like.
Yeah, agreed, because the next movie on the list was The Waterboy, a movie I enjoyed very much.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm sure this was Adam Sandler's peak time too.
Peak Adam Sandler. And then the movie after that was Dr. Dolittle.
Oh, yeah.
Which I would have been surprised to find it was in the top 6 of a year of the movies, but it was that time.
I feel like that movie doesn't belong in 1998. It seems like that was older than that. But I guess not, yeah.
Well, and I think there's been 3 versions of Dr. Dolittle made now?
Yeah, at least, because they had one that came out a few years ago with, what's his name? And then I forget how old the original was. I think it was like the 70s.
And I assume that this one is the Eddie Murphy one.
It is. It's got to be.
Yeah, this one in 98.
And then they had a sequel to his.
Yes. Yes, they did. Whew. What a career that guy's had, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Wow. Beverly Hills Cop is so good. That's on an aside, but it's so good.
And the song,
Axel.
I forgot the one the theme song, basically.
Yep. And the number 7 movie, which is of note because it was part of a conversation we have, is Deep Impact, the Armageddon Light of that year's releases. I don't remember who was in Deep Impact. Bill Paxton in Deep Impact?
He might have been.
It just feels like a movie he was in. I don't know why.
Possibly. And Tia something or Tara something.
Tia Leone was in it?
I think it was her.
Oh, you know what? I had a huge crush on Tia Leone. I don't have a lot of...
We need to Google that, because I'm pretty sure... Because I remember the end of that movie specifically, there's a scene with her, and I feel confident that it's her, but I feel not very confident at the same time.
All right, we're going to look it up.
Because this big-ass truck is about to pass us.
Whoa! Oh, you got to don't
he's
tread
so
on
tough,
me, license
don't
plate.
tread on that guy.
Oh, God. All right, it had Morgan Freeman, Elijah Wood,
Yeah.
Tia Leone,
Okay. Yeah.
Lily Sobieski, Jon Favreau.
Oh, I forgot he was in it.
I did too. It does not look like it had Bill Paxton in it.
He was probably in. I feel like he was in another sciencey one.
Yes,
Maybe he was in First Contact.
maybe. I know he's Independence Day, and that's the only thing I can think of. So there you go. Yeah, Deep Impact. So, yeah, that was... Yeah, it was probably a bad year. Like, it might have done better if Armageddon didn't exist.
Yeah. Oh, which we should probably clarify the conversation that we've had already about Deep Impact and Armageddon and how many movies are the exact same story.
Yes.
And somehow
movies.
always come out within the same year.
Seem to be near each other.
Armageddon, Deep Impact, then No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits
Yes.
was another one that we talked about.
Yes.
Um,
What was the one that I said? Oh, I said this wasn't quite the same, but there's a Three Musketeers movie that happened at the same time as Man in the Iron Mask was out.
oh yeah, that is the one you brought up, and now I can't remember what the I guess it was just called Three Musketeers.
Yeah, it was just Three Musketeers. Yeah, and I saw the Man in the Iron Mask, but I didn't know the story of the Man in the Iron Mask, and was surprised to find the Three Musketeers in that movie. But I love the Man in the Iron Mask. It's one of my favorite movies. Next, here's the other thing. Maybe this was based on the time when you still had to listen to music like on CDs and stuff. Godzilla is in the 8th spot on that year, and it was a soundtrack machine. Like, it had great music on the soundtrack. I remember buying it. I think I still have it somewhere. One of my favorite songs in it, which unfortunately bad people make it so you can't enjoy old things anymore, but it was a P. Diddy song that he did a cover of Come With Me, the guitar guy from one of the big bands. I can't remember. But he had Godzilla roaring in it, and my friends and I would laugh so hard at Godzilla roaring in the offbeats in this song. It was the best.
And people give that movie so much shit, but I actually really enjoyed that. And it might have been because I wasn't born yet, but I thought it was a fun movie.
Sure. Like, it is in the range here, like, especially when we talk about the other movies that are coming up. Like, it was maybe, besides Deep Impact, the most, I'm going to say, brainless movie of them all. But that's okay. You need to have a good, fun, brainless movie. Mm-hmm. Like, every year should have a fun, brainless action movie that everybody can just go and enjoy, and you don't have to think about it at all.
Yeah.
And Godzilla was definitely that. The movie after that was a good, fun action movie that maybe you had to think about a little bit because it's Rush Hour, which, holy crap, Rush Hour was in 1998.
That sounds right, for there being 30 of them.
Yes. But the first one, I mean, they're all probably about the same quality. Maybe that's unfair. I haven't watched them in a while.
Yeah, I don't know, because I know that I really enjoyed Rush Hour 2.
Yes.
And I think that I enjoyed Rush Hour 1.
Yes.
But I know that there's a lot of things that would absolutely be inappropriate.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Does not hold up. There's a lot of things in all of them that I don't think hold up anymore.
And there's some that I don't even know if they held up very well back then either.
Well, that's true. Now, that's fair. They were already kind of pushing it, even in 1998.
Yeah.
The next movie on this list, which might be my second all-time favorite movie, Good Will Hunting.
Oh, good movie.
Such a good movie. I also had a crush on Minnie Driver as well.
Oh,
back
yeah,
in the day.
I could see that.
Like, I didn't have a lot of crushes there, but I think maybe my top 3 crushes are on this list. Because apparently this was the time when I was watching movies and stuff so much I had those crushes.
So wait, have we covered
We've
actors?
covered 2 of them. We have not covered the third one yet.
Okay, so Minnie Driver and then...
Tia Leone.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah, Tia Leone, Minnie Driver, and the third one is coming.
Okay.
Good Will Hunting. You enjoy Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, it was a good movie.
When was the last time you watched it?
It's been a few years.
Yeah.
I think I saw it when I was on travel for work a couple of years ago in a hotel room, and not all of it probably, but most of it.
I try to watch it once every 2 years. It feels like a movie. This Good Will Hunting feels like a movie that tells me a lesson that I need to remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a lot of movies do that in a way that I feel like doesn't make me feel bad as a person. The Good Will Hunting never made me feel bad.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
we have moved to the second state.
We have crossed states. The only podcast in the world that is on the ground going over 2 states at one time. Way to go, us.
Crushing it.
Crushing it. Good Will Hunting. Yep, great film. Told lots of good stories, lots of good lessons, great acting all the way around.
Yeah.
4 thumbs up.
And it's Matt Damon and Ben Affleck was also in it too, right?
Ben Affleck was Ben Affleck was like, what I was impressed about their acting in there is Ben Affleck was just the bloke. He literally was just to make the story move forward.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I remember the scene in the bar where they try to make his character sound stupid.
Yep.
And then Matt Damon comes and saves the day.
Yep, he saves the day, and Ben Affleck has the one scene where he's like, you got to go, like because Matt Damon's character there, like he wants him to move and go do better things, and Matt Damon's character Will is trying to be like, no, working construction's a good job. Working construction is a you know, like I'm not any better than you just because I'm smart or whatever, and Ben Affleck's character is like, no, fuck you, man. Like, you're smart. Don't waste that here with us. If we could, we would leave your ass in the dust in a second. You got to leave our ass in the dust and go be smart.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, what a year for him, because Armageddon up there at number 2, and then Good Will Hunting here. And also with him, not that I'm even a huge fan of Ben Affleck, but somehow I'm talking about him a lot. But his production studio is the one that put out Air last year.
Oh, yeah.
And the way that they set that up, the guy who actually wrote it, they gave him so many writing credits in order for him to actually make a ton of money off of it, versus how most production studios end up. I don't know all the nuance of it, but there's something with how the contracts get written, and they made it so that guy got a bunch of credit.
Nice.
And so, apparently he's a good guy.
Yeah, nice. I didn't think I was a big Matt Damon fan. Like Ben Affleck, I'm fine with. Like I think he's just a prolific actor. He gets his hand in stuff. I feel neutral as I could feel.
Yeah.
About Ben Affleck. Matt Damon, I just got an impression that he was a kind of a haughty asshole, without, not haughty, but Haughty. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's attractive. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I watched his Hot Ones episode, and it was really endearing. Something about the way Hot Ones does things, I think, probably brings that out. But it was endearing, and he seemed like he had calmed down, and he had a lot of wisdom about the process of making movies and life. And I was like, okay, we're chill.
I agree about Hot Ones, because I've seen some with interviews with some celebrities that I'm like, oh, I know this person is such a jerk.
Yes.
And then they end up being fine on Hot Ones, and kind of makes me rethink my opinion on some people. But Matt Damon, with all of his cameos that he does, love him. Yeah. Like Euro Trip and...
Yes. He pops up, like random Matt Damon appearances is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome that he seems like a guy they can call and be like, hey, you want to do this really weird random thing where we won't tell anybody?
Yeah, that could be me.
Yeah, sure, I'll do it. Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, good for him.
There's somebody else who's done that. Maybe one of the Star Wars, where one of the stormtroopers is actually...
Yes. There's a few.
Who is it?
There's the guy that was James Bond was one of the Star Wars as a helmeted trooper. He gets one voice line. What the heck is his name? Why can't I think of James Bond's name?
Yeah, I can't think of which one it would be.
The most recent one, the one that just finished.
Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig, yep.
Oh.
Yeah, he was one helmeted stormtrooper, and I think he gets a voice line.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was thinking. In Hook, Glenn Close is one of the pirates.
Oh, yes. Hook. Wow. Man, Hook. When was Hook? Got to be around this period.
Yeah, like 96, 94 maybe?
Yeah.
Totally guessing. Could be way off. But I feel
I'm not going to look it up.
there.
Somebody will yell at us while they're listening. I've
Yeah,
had a few people.
tell us. Send us a comment.
Yeah, I've had a few
Let us know
people.
that you are listening.
Few people tell me that they're just like, yeah, it feels like I'm in a conversation that I like to interrupt sometimes. I'm like, good. I'm going to throw things in there just so that you feel like you have to yell at me through your radio.
Yeah.
That I said something that's not right. So there you go. Look that up.
Yeah, people have already yelled at us because we didn't finish a list a couple of episodes ago.
I totally wanted to tell you that I just wanted to make that a bit. I just wanted to never finish a list. Always start one and never finish one.
Well, we have to finish this one because
Yeah.
I want to talk about the last movie.
Yeah, okay, yes. So we got to finish this list. So we'll move to
Or
number
we could
11.
just skip one of them and see if anybody notices.
No, because we're to the point where people won't notice.
Oh, that's probably true.
Because who's going to get mad that we missed number 11, Lethal Weapon 4? Which wasn't a bad Lethal Weapon, mind you. And it was kind of like fun. It was back to being a fun one because they kind of run it into the ground a little bit in the first three, I think. Who was in it? Some wisecracking. I don't want to say Dave Chappelle, but that's not right. But they changed the formula up a little bit.
It's like
Lethal
Chris
Weapon
Tucker?
4, maybe?
I mean,
I
if he
don't
was in Rush Hour, then he would have hopped over to Lethal Weapon,
Yeah,
maybe.
so they
I
added
don't know.
somebody to adjust the formula a bit, and it worked out okay. It was fine. A Bug's Life is number 12.
Good movie. Also another one where they
Yes.
had another
Yeah,
reverse
but Ants?
Ants, yeah.
Which didn't do as well, but it was also lower budget and stuff, I think, Ants.
Yeah. I liked Ants. I thought it was very well done.
I believe I've only seen of the two Ants. And I thought Ants was fine.
I think that Ants was more serious
I
from
think
what
that's
I remember. Because Bug's Life had more of the silly characters, and Ants was, at least all the scenes I can think of, some of them were a little scary with the grasshoppers.
Oh,
and
yes.
Yeah, it did have a serious tone in a lot of aspects of it. But maybe there was more humor than I'm remembering.
Yeah, I don't remember. But I remember Ants being more serious. But I think I liked it. I mean, I haven't watched it now probably since 2000, so it might not even be animated and I wouldn't remember. Number 13 is The Truman Show.
Oh, good movie. Sad movie.
Very
though.
strong, but very sad movie. But one of the most unique and interesting concepts that Hollywood wishes they could figure out how to do again, but they can't.
Yeah.
Because you can only kind of get away with that once. And he was already that was his major, I'm not a comedic actor thing. Jim Carrey, James Carrey in the credits for that, I think.
Yeah,
Because
I
that's
guess
what he does in serious movies.
That was his first more serious role that I can think of.
Because The Mask 2 was 97.
Yeah. And he has had some very colorful characters.
Colorful characters, yes. So film number 14 includes my third and probably the only other crush on my crush list. Number 14 is As Good as It Gets.
Oh, Helen Hunt?
Helen Hunt.
Yeah.
I was a huge Mad About You fan. I watched this movie just because she was in it. It's also a very good movie. As Good as It Gets.
Yeah, it is a good movie.
Jack Nicholson is in there. Everybody's a little crazy. And
Sixth Sense Kid.
Sixth Sense Kid.
Haley Joel
Yes,
Osment.
Yeah. I liked As Good as It Gets because it felt. Sometimes movies don't feel like everybody is as crazy as people really are in real life, but this felt like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's nice when it's not super sad.
Yeah, and I feel like that one, there was some sad stuff
Oh,
to
yes,
it, but
there was.
didn't it end on a hopeful
It
note?
did. It did, if I remember correctly, or at least that's what I painted in my brain so that I could enjoy the thought of it. The Jack Nicholson crazy asshole character was coming around, and people were setting boundaries with him that he was respecting, and things were moving. So it just felt like there is a path forward for everybody. Mm-hmm. If that's not the real, now I'm going to look it up at some point and be really sad that that's not how it turned out. But I think that's how it turned out. And finally, number 15 on this list is Mulan. You have a fun story about Mulan.
Yep. So when I went to Disney when I was a kid with my parents, they took us through the animation studios and we got to do a tour and see what movie they were in the process of making and watch the people sketching in the little sketch room, and it was for Mulan. And they had the trailer already, but it was like a preview trailer. It wasn't the actual one. So then a year later is when it actually came out from when I went to Disney. So I think I went to Disney in early 97. And so in 98 is when it actually came out. So I got to actually see it and be like, oh man, I know this movie. I've known about it for a year. Which doesn't mean much nowadays, but back then you didn't really hear about movies beforehand until you saw them on TV being previewed.
Yeah,
so.
If you didn't see a television trailer or you didn't see a trailer for it in the theater, there's no way to know.
Yeah. So it was cool. Mulan's always got a special place for me, just because of that. And I remember seeing the artist sketching and looking at...
Which is so cool.
Yeah, and it was... and we saw several people working, but there was one where it's actually Mulan doing something. So you see her face and like as they're flipping the page to make the transitions and stuff. And then the other one that we saw them drawing was one of the fight scenes where everybody's coming down the mountain or whatever.
Oh, yes.
And so watching them sketching that was really cool.
How cool.
It was a good time.
Yeah, that's an experience that you just don't get the same.
Yeah, everything's went to animation, so I don't even know how many hand-drawn stuff is left.
Yeah, it's like, you know when it's a hand-drawn thing because people will advertise the crap out of it because it's so unique for it to be a hand-drawn thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, get over it, dude. Fuck you.
Just acted like...
waited
seriously,
50 more feet instead of cutting me off like that.
Acted like you were in their way somehow from getting over when there's no hurry at all.
Like, nobody's ahead of you. Sorry to the audience. We might cut it.
I don't know if I'm gonna. That's gonna make it. That's gonna make the reality of the fact that we're doing this on the road really real. That might have to stay.
I have been good about not screaming at people too, which there hasn't been anybody to scream at this whole time. Like,
no.
Traffic's been fine.
No, we just
up until this guy who decided to get over in front of me.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody that buzzed you, and then you had that truck that was going 250 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
With their "Don't Tread on Me" license plate.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking "Don't Tread on Me" license plate. Listen. Nope, I'm not even gonna. Okay. Let's talk about the Oscars for 99 that covered the movies for 98.
Okay.
I've kept track of the best picture, best director, leading actor, leading actress. Okay? So the best picture was Shakespeare in Love, which I remember so much to do about it at the time, but I've never seen it.
I've only seen it, I don't know when. It's been several years. Maybe once in college, or maybe in high school or something. I don't know. Oh wait, I'm 22. I'm in college right now.
Right. Oh yeah. Maybe once when you were thinking about when you wanted to go to college.
But all I can remember is there's a line in there that's like, that woman is a woman, because I think that it's set with back when they hired young boys to be the actress.
Yes, right. Yes, I think that was one of the things, is like
women could not act in plays or something, and he hires her.
I now have this thought that we might have to do on a future episode, because I wonder, this was such a surprise when I saw it won Best Picture, because it's one of the movies that won a Best Picture that I don't know that I've heard anybody talk about more than a year after it came out. Like, it's not, now, obviously my circles are what they are. It's anecdotal at best, but not one that seems like it lasted. It's a lasting great movie, which, look, you're only competing against the movies in the same year, so not all of them are going to be all-time great movies, but...
Which, going back to that, I am surprised it wasn't Titanic or Armageddon.
So Titanic won the previous year.
Titanic did win the previous year.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot,
Titanic
because we're splitting the year.
Yeah, so because of the time frame that it released, Titanic won in 1998. The actual Oscars that happened in 98, Titanic won Best Picture.
Yeah.
But the Oscars for 99 that covered most of the movie, because the Oscars are in like March. So like March to March. So, you know, most of the time it covers like the late Christmas holiday movie releases, and then everything else is going to be in that bubble. And I imagine Titanic was a holiday release without remembering, because I don't, even though everything in the world advertised it. Like, it was a movie that was going to be a success because everything, and it was a good movie.
Well, it's also everything James Cameron touches is huge.
Yes, also that. And back then, like, he had full thrusters to go. Like, he had all of the machine was working to make Titanic go.
Yeah.
And like, it was like, here's a sinking boat in your Happy Meal and whatever.
Yeah, I guess that was around the point where he could have done no wrong.
He could have done no wrong. You know, like even The Abyss, which I don't think was a particularly great movie, but I know a lot of people that treat it very fondly, just on the strength of his vision.
Yeah.
Like, his vision was great, and the man knows how to make an epic. Mm-hmm. Like, he knows how to draw a big display in a movie. So good for him. And I think it got every credit. Everybody went to see it. People still love it to this day.
Yeah.
I have it on VHS that I've never watched. I don't even know if I've opened it. It's maybe worth money. Who knows? Best director was Spielberg for Saving Private Ryan, which
makes sense. Yeah.
A lot of moving parts for that guy. Oh yeah, Matt Damon was in that guy too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best actor was Robert Benigni in Life is Beautiful, which I know nothing about.
Same. I don't think I ever saw it.
I don't even know that I clearly remember who Robert Benigni is, though I remember knowing his name. So I'm sure he was in other things.
Yeah, I can picture his face, but I don't know a thing that he was in.
Yeah, me neither. Except for the actor winner for Life is Beautiful. And then Gwyneth Paltrow won the Best Actress for Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah.
Which I looked it up after I saw this, because I'm like, oh, how many Oscars did Gwyneth Paltrow win? Thinking this had to be one of a few. Nope, this was the only one.
Yeah, I think that makes sense though, because she's been in some good stuff, but I don't know that she's been in anything that's particularly stand out.
Probably not. I mean, obviously not.
I mean, and which I say that might have been bad phrasing, because she has been in some pretty iconic roles. Like,
sure.
She was the wife in Seven.
Oh yeah.
So that's a good role, but it also was a very small part.
Yeah.
And you know, she was an Iron Man, but you're not gonna win an Oscar in that movie.
No.
And so
I just remember
think that's
her.
just how her career took her.
Was she the lady in Life in Mono? Not Life in Mono. Great Expectations?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I always think of the song by Life in Mono when I think of Great Expectations. So that's why I always think of the movie in. I always remember, because the album art has a picture of a lady that I think is her, and I'm like, I think people like that movie, but obviously not enough for her to get a thing. So, but she's got an Oscar for Shakespeare in Love. Good for her. But I'm also looking, which again, this may be unfair, because you have to throw out Titanic, because I think the lady in Titanic, Kate Winslet won in the previous year. I'm pretty sure she won. So Titanic won all of the things. So once you think,
because Leo didn't win.
Leo did not win.
Yes. But I think that she might have.
I think she won.
Or she won. Maybe she won again, because I think when they got together again for Revolutionary Road, that she won that year as well. Or I'm just totally off.
Well, but unfortunately, I'm looking at this list, and I think I'm just looking at this top 15, which isn't really a fair look, a way to do it. But I don't know that Liv was given anything in Armageddon that was going to get her a shot at it, right? Now, Minnie and Good Will Hunting probably did have something enough to have made able to run at it.
She could have won supporting. I don't think that she was necessarily. And it's been a while. Maybe she's a bigger part than I remember, but I thought that her role was not as huge as the other roles.
I agree. I'm really trying to be extra fair about trying to just say who else in this list could have had a shot, and even competing for it, just in this top list.
Yeah.
But yeah, there wasn't a lot of people. Well, it wasn't a lot in the box office for '98 that was going to do. And Shakespeare in Love, I think, was like 30 or something in box office. But I don't know when it's released. It could have been a 90. Could have been late enough that it wasn't Titanic, but early enough that the box office wasn't completely in '98. Who knows? I didn't do a lot of research. I just thought this was a fun list.
Yeah, it's taken up a good portion of the episode.
Yeah.
Almost probably close to the end of the episode, I think.
Yeah, we're 35 minutes in here. So let's do quick. Your favorite-ish, maybe top 3 if you can't pick a favorite, movies.
So my favorite movie that I don't know that I'm going to be able to pronounce correctly because it's French, and I've never heard anybody actually pronounce it or say it, but La Belle et la Bête, which is Beauty and the Beast from 1946. Because it's beautiful. It's black and white, very well done. The technology might not be the right word, but the effects that they use in that movie, considering that it's 1940s and how well they did with it, it's just beautiful. Loved it very much. Will always be my favorite movie.
Beautiful. My favorite movie is Jet Li Hero.
Good movie.
Also pretty much the same. It's the effects and the use of color and just the beauty of all of it. The way that the scenes are set, the way the colors match the scenes, the soundtrack, just epic, beautiful, amazing.
That's right, that is the one that had all the colors.
Yes, each kind of scene set, because these stories are being told, because basically it goes that there's like, stories are kind of a lie, and Jet Li's character's trying to get to where he can kill the Emperor, and then he decides not to. And you should watch the movie if you haven't watched it. But as these stories are told, they have a color palette that goes with them, until kind of the last story kind of mixes the colors, when it's like the true story. It's amazing. Just everything about it is beautiful, well set, awesome. Love that movie. All right. What is your, I won't say favorite, because that might be rough, but if all genres of movies are in front of you, which ones would you go to first? And sometimes I know it's mood-based and everything, like, it's not so easy, but...
I mean, I guess I always lean towards more action-based movies.
Okay.
And I will include sci-fi and fantasy within the action-based genre.
Yeah, those count. Do you prefer sci-fi to fantasy or fantasy to sci-fi? Do you have a preference there?
I don't think so. I might end up leaning towards sci-fi just because so many of my favorite movies, like going back to James Cameron, Aliens,
Sure,
or Alien, or any of the Aliens.
Yes.
And trying to think, Enemy Mine.
Oh boy. Oh, that is a good movie.
Yeah.
Enemy Mine. I haven't thought about that movie in a minute.
So for things like that, I guess I'm leaning more towards sci-fi based.
Nice. I think my favorite all-time movie genre is martial arts, which can include action. It can include sci-fi or fantasy, depending, but mostly pure martial arts, like wuxia style, guys on cables jumping around and flinging each other and stuff. I am still a fan of a superhero movie, even if I don't have to watch one for a while. And I also really like sci-fi, though I'm much like my sci-fi with a little bit of mysticism in it. I don't as much like straight sci-fi as much. Like I love Star Wars. I like, which is not necessarily based in movies. I love Star Wars. I like Star Trek some, not as much as I like Star Wars. Like I didn't do Battlestar Galactica, or like I'm not a what's the what's the one with that everybody loves? That got the TV show and then it had a movie later. Starts with an F. Firefly. Like not as much my jam because I really like swords and sorcery, I guess, and I like it in space if I can help it.
What about like Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick and stuff? Because they have a magic base sort of stuff, but it's also very much.
I like stuff like that. I just didn't particularly like those movies for some reason. But I also watched them forever ago, and I might watch them again and like them. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I think it was just the time. I don't know that I gave them enough chance. I don't know. I don't know why I feel so strongly against them when it's something I think I should like. So I feel like I got to give those ones another shot.
There's a lot of people who didn't enjoy them, or they enjoyed one set, not the other set. Because Pitch Black was such a difference when you went from that to Chronicles of Riddick, and so people are fans of one and not the other. Fans don't like either, or people like both. So
I don't know. That is one that I do really need to watch those again because I didn't watch them since they came out, and like I just feel like I had a negative opinion of them, and I can't tell you why. And so I think I just need to give them another shot. It's the same with like Wild Wild West. I know if I watch Wild Wild West now, I'd enjoy the crap out of it. At the time, I did not like it. And I'm not sure why.
I mean, that one's supposedly a really bad movie.
Yeah, but it like I've talked to people that really like it, and they're like, I think what they say to me is that the expectations make it bad, and that it's not bad.
Yeah, you know? I can see that. It's an entertaining movie.
Yeah, it's just a movie.
I've always enjoyed it well enough, but I can recognize that it is, critically, it's not good.
Right. Critically, it wasn't good.
And especially when you compare it to Men in Black, where Men in Black was very well done.
Sure.
Wild Wild West was not very well done.
Yeah. Well, they didn't tie everything together quite nicely as they did in Men in Black, which is great. Men in Black was great. What about? Did you ever watch Aliens and Cowboys?
Yeah, Aliens versus Cowboys.
Did you like that? I don't know anybody that liked it.
I did not like it. I was entertained, but I've never liked it enough to go back and watch it again.
Okay, I feel like maybe I have to do Wild West and that together somehow. I need to make a double feature of those two, and I might enjoy them now when I didn't necessarily before. That's my plan. One day when I sit down and watch a movie. All right, look, I think we did great. I think we really covered 1998 in movies, which is something that no one was asking for. But I really think that people that listen to this will enjoy thinking about a bunch of movies that they have not thought about in a long time.
For sure.
Also, okay, what's the name of your favorite movie again?
La Belle et la Bête.
La Belle and la Bête. Watch that. I expect book reports from everyone.
It's in the Criterion Collection.
Oh,
can't find it.
Look, it's Criterion Collection. You gotta watch it if it's Criterion Collection. I know that there's one of those, because I watch them on YouTube where they'll just have an actor and they'll set them in the Criterion Collection and be like, pick your movies, and they'll pick them off the shelf. I'm sure someone has picked that movie off the shelf. I'm sure about it. So now I need to know who has. This has become a whole thing now. I'm gonna learn. Like I said, look at that. You traveled across 2 states and gave me a movie education. Just like I said you would. We can write this show off in our taxes now. Way to go. All right. Good episode. The next one, we're going to talk about Ocarina of Time.
More 1998.
More 1998. Prime 1998. The primiest of 1998. Boy, do I have some things to say about Ocarina of Time. I have been preparing for this for a minute.
Can't wait.
So that'll be next. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I was going to steal Bob Barker's Have Your Pet Spay or Neutered, but I don't know if that's a good thing anymore. Is that still a thing people should do? Have your pet spayed and neutered?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, do it. Have your pet spayed or neutered. Goodbye.
Bye.